YouTube family, see the settings again. Maverick there, on the go again. On the road again. Still, you know, best and most credible opinion, do you know? That not change. Fear and fearless analysis. Every time I open my mouth to talk, I am guided by those principles. So we're going back. We're on a World Cup qualifying football now. Jamaica. Guess what come out of the JFF in terms of a recent announcement now? Remember we played Grenada the other day? Last month? Well, at the end of this month, well, more like the third week of this month, I think the 21st, we play against Martinique, another Caribbean team in our build-up to the continental playoffs. That in and of itself sound sensible, don't? Right? Alright. But hear the thing again now. Just like we did for the Grenada game, this game will not be on what you call a FIFA date. Therefore, all of our top players will not be available for this game. Therefore, we are going to play this game here again with by and large a set of local based players as well as 1 and 2, I think, out of the USL, and a couple of players were out of contract and that kind of thing. But the significant point is the team that should be in preparation, the big team with the big players, all of the top flight players, to play in the intercontinental playoffs, those players by and large will not be available. So just like some of you that argue for the Grenada game, we are going to make the same argument again. This one, even more urgent, because to me personally, it's basically another exercise in futility. Because this is going to make 2 games we play upon the track now, supposedly in preparation for the World Cup qualification. And the majority of the team are going to play in the playoffs now play. That don't make no sense to me. Even if somebody are going to argue, say, all right, maybe 1 and 2 players, 3 and 4 players might emerge out of that squad there to make up that team there. How significant is that? Me think them game me more as like a distraction than preparation, if you ask me. And it's twofold. Remember me telling you say most of the players them not go available. Here the other aspect of it now. We are playing against another Caribbean team. It would make a little bit more sense or add a little bit more credit to the sense side of the equation if we were going to do like a simulation exercise. Play against a team from down from down the Oceania, Confederation. We play like how New Caledonia play. So we simulate how them play, so we formulate or look at how them play to go devise a plan to play against them in the playoffs. Or if you want us to get presumptuous, organize a friendly with an African team. Because if we get past New Caledonia, then we have the bigger task of getting past the Democratic Republic of Congo. So therefore, to get that game with an African opponent, we'll be able again to simulate in terms of how we are going to approach the African opponent, where we have got playing at probably the toughest game of this entire World Cup qualifying journey. So me I say it don't make no sense. I remember watching the Grenada game, and I think Damian Lowe, who is a regular in the first team, they probably 1 and 2 other players who were on the fringes. But Damian Lowe only play because me not think him affiliated to no club at any high level right now. So him are going to be available. And if you notice, in recent times, Damian Lowe not getting no playing time in the Jamaican team. I think he should be getting more playing time if you ask me. But I think for the same reason the fact say he don't really have a potent contract right now, professional contract. We feel that a part of the reason why them sideline him out of more playing time for Jamaica in the field World Cup qualifying attempt up to the Curacao game in a stadium. But me don't know people. Me say me not go care about the last phase of the attempt to qualify either, because we muff up the easiest passage to the World Cup ever. Me so disgruntled, me so vex. I know disgruntled, me talk about disgruntled. Vex. We mess up the World Cup qualifying and still vex. That me I decide to go detach myself emotionally from the rest of the journey, because the heartache too deep in how we mess up the thing with Curacao, Bermuda and Trinidad. And now we have the audacity now, if we want to go beat Democratic Republic of Congo, we rank about 20 places either way by the FIFA ranking. And we see them in a FIDEM World Cup elimination when them get with Nigeria. And we see them in the African tournament after that. So it's a formidable opponent. and a higher ranked team than we. But I will say, you know, at Jamaica, you know, we can't switch nationality, you know. Well, some people can, but I have no intention of switching nationality. See, so Jamaica will always be my side. So it's kind of hard for Jamaica to try play to get to the World Cup. I'm totally detached myself. Sometimes detaching yourself from the process, you know, is an act of self-preservation, you know. I see if you cut down your expectation and you just say, yeah, you just pay scant regard to it and you say, boy, if them qualify, them qualify. If them don't qualify, you know, you kind of shield yourself from an invested emotional attachment based on your desire and your optimism about them qualifying. Right now, the optimism is not there. The hope is there, you know, but the optimism is not there. Because them dig themselves in a hole. And if them good enough and can find the resolve and the tenacity and the fortitude to dig themselves back out of this hole, then I think we tell them, say, well, you don't do what you're supposed to do. And that's what we expect them to do. If they don't, I think the fallout will continue to be grave. Remember the monetary factor, you know. $9 million US, you know, is at stake just to qualify for the World Cup, you know. And as me that said in a previous video, I don't think the federation and the coaching staff, well, maybe the federation, but I don't think the coaching staff at the time and the players at the time did realize fully what $9 million US would have mean for the Jamaica football economy. I don't think them would appreciate it. Because the kind of lethargy, the kind of, when you look back on some of them games there, you know, when you look on the approach, how we approach the entire final round campaign, you know, we can't get out of my mind when we don't have Trinidad and have Trinidad on the ropes. When Cephas did score the breakaway goal, we go 1-0 upon Trinidad. I exit Trinidad, I exit the World Cup, that's you know. Out of the World Cup, them have to have a beat, you know. So you know, anybody with any modicum of football sense knows that Trinidad had no choice but to open up in a football terms and come at Jamaica now, you know. And if anybody again with even an ounce of football common sense knows it, when a team is desperate and need to win and have to win and come at you, they're going to take more risks, so they're going to become more vulnerable, and more than likely, you will get chances to score again for them and kill off the game. And that fool coach we carry come here, decide after we go 1-0 up, say, he might take off Cephas, our most effective offensive player, and he might go try to protect the 1-0, knowing that Trinidad are going to come against you. That is one of the biggest dunces tactical move ever made on a football field with so much at stake. And when the game done now, he was basically like, you know, expressing a certain level of satisfaction with the John game away from home. Not realizing, you know, again, you know, the man didn't sleep on the job, you know. And all who did around him didn't sleep on the job, you know. Not realizing, you know. So if he come back at a game there in the stadium now, against Curacao, needing to win, you know. Be happy win, you know. That's going to be a pressure game. Plus the fact that Curacao were the leaders of the team. Leaders of the group, proven to be a much more organized and better coached team than any other team member in the group. Because that's the reason why they're qualifying. Not realizing the bungler pressure we are going to put on the Reggae boys. Knowing that if we did win the game down at Trinidad, a lesser team, much more vulnerable team, a team that we had at our fingertips to beat up, would have come back to the National Stadium only needing a draw. Far less pressure on us. Curacao, again, the dynamics would have played out. We would have played out at the Trinidad game. Curacao would need to win. So they would have to come at us. They would open up and they would be now vulnerable defensively. All of that thought process there, it looked like the big football man them in the camp just said, say, boy, make me take a draw now because a draw is always good away from home. Not realizing the specific nuance of the situation. And end up Jamaica touch the World Cup and now, if we God want to play off something, go try to qualify, go beat two teams. Where God Almighty, then we don't know about them two teams there. And right now, what we are doing, we are playing Grade the other day, now we are playing Martinique. With some baller, we're not going to play in the World Cup qualifying intercontinental playoff. And we are use them to prepare for the intercontinental playoff. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. As we say now, we are hope We in a hope. We are living a hope. Not Hope Garden. And not Hope River. But we're living in hope. But not optimism. Maverick out and about. The countdown now. Anyway. How much you say? Talk to me now, man. Talk to me now, how much? One Maverick. One Maverick.